Hello there fellow cake friends and welcome back to my channel. With the holiday season upon us, we have got a special treat for you today. Not one, not two, but three delightful buttercream techniques that are going to take your festive baking game to the next level. Get ready to dive into the world of buttercream piping as I show you a minimalist tree cake design, and then we're going to head into a really cute punch needle ornament design, and then take a couple of those techniques and put them into our final masterpiece cake, which is a knitted ugly sweater design. Before we get into this tutorial, I have everything you're gonna need to make all of these cakes in the description box below, so check that out first. Hit that subscribe button, and without further delay, let's get right into it. So we've got a 6-inch, 6-layer cake here, and it ends up being about 7.5 inches tall. It's already been assembled, and now Justine is masking it just with a plain white buttercream, so we have a nice base to add all our fun buttercream decorations onto afterwards. First design we're going to do is the minimalist tree design. So I have 4 colors here. Black is kind of optional, it's just for the tires of the trunk. The brown is for the trunk of the tree. Green, obviously, for the evergreen tree itself, and then red is for our little truck that we'll be adding. But let's start with the trees. I actually did a little sample here, just like on a lid, trying out different designs, just seeing what I liked and practicing a little bit. And I also marked out just a few dots here of where I was thinking I want to lay out the trees. So you can do that either with your green, or you can just do it with a scribe tool, just in case you change your mind. So I'll just start here, and I'm just gonna do maybe 4 or 5 lines going one way on a diagonal, and then 4 or 5 going the opposite way. And I don't want to make these looking perfect. I want them to look kind of a little bit organic, squiggly. It's kind of like a cutesy design, not meant to be like exact. And then we'll just do a few lines downwards for the trunk. And I'm just gonna keep going with that design. So I'm pressing, I'm not even like touching the cake ever, I'm just holding the piping bag like a millimeter away, letting it hit the cake, and then I'm just lifting off. I'm stopping pressure right near the end and just lifting off instead of like pressing down at all. Let's do our truck. Draw a little cab, I guess is what it's called. Anything but trucks. And then we'll just make the body. And fill that in. Now just for some details, let's do our 2 wheels. So I'm just gonna do black. And finally, we will add a tree in the back as if this little truck is hauling a Christmas tree away. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. The charm is that it's imperfect. And there's our cute little truck. So I'm gonna continue on with our little trees, scattering them about. So this is our finished minimalist cake design, and it is super easy, super quick, and really fun too. Come take a look at our final trees, and kind of the more imperfect the better for this one. So even if you are a beginner piper, I think you're gonna do great with this design. So on to our next design. Let's scrape this one off. We are ready to do our punch needle design, and I've done just a couple of samples here just to kind of get the hang of doing it. And I found the easiest way was just kind of to make what almost look like little worms of buttercream. I will start with the ornament because I found that to be the easiest one to do. So we'll start with some pink. All I'm gonna do is decide where exactly I want my ornament to be. And you could always mark this out too with a little scribe tool, just so you know kind of the lines to stay within. But I'm just going to start doing my little squiggles. And these, I kind of want to look like little ornaments scattered about the cake. So that's just the style I'm going for with this. I'm gonna grab my red and just do more squiggles. Just trying to keep that line fairly consistent, but it doesn't have to be perfect. Brown in order to make the top, and finally a little loop on the top. So there's our first little punch needle design, and next we can maybe do the tree. So this one's pretty easy. We're gonna start just with a triangle. And the great thing about this is you can always kind of adjust the shape. Just start a little bit smaller than you want, and then you can just fill it in a little bit more with some squiggles. Next, we'll do the top. Just going to look like a pom-pom on the top. And a couple small ornaments too in this red color. Now I'll switch to pink and orange for the others. Next, let's go on to our dog. So again, we're starting with the red. And we'll make his little hat first. And do a pom-pom on top. And just be careful if you're using a color and it kind of touches another color, you can end up smearing it. So just clean off your tips if you need to. All right, then we'll go to the brown. Make like a little miniature poodle. So we'll do his cute little head first. So just kind of a rounded shape. And then the ears, which are kind of like curvy and a little bit puffier than the head. So I'm just building up the buttercream with different layers of those little worms. And finally the face. We're just gonna use a smaller tip with our black. This is a number 1 tip. So we'll start with the nose, just a little triangle. And then our eyes. And there's your cute little doggy. So finally, we will get our penguin on there, and then I'm just gonna add more on and kind of fill it up a little bit. So the penguin was the hardest one, just because it does require like different layers of things. So let's begin again with the same hat that we made for our dog. So our penguin's hat is going to be a little bit off center and a bit smaller. We'll get our cream to make the pom-pom on top and the little fluff at the bottom. So I had a smaller tip on the number 1 for my black, and now I'm just switching it out to a larger one. This is a number 3 because it would take way too long to fill this whole thing in. I'm just doing kind of like a half circle shape here for our penguin's body. Make him nice and chubby. And go a little bit lower than the black area with your cream. Just making sure he's nice and rounded. Next, I'm gonna do a scarf with the red, just right around the center. And finally his face. So let's do his beak first and switch back to our number 1 with the black for his eyes. So I'm just gonna continue going around, making kind of like different ornaments in different colors and just kind of mixing and matching the whole thing. And then this design will be finished. Ended up mixing and matching all the different colors that I had. So I think that's a nice way to go about it, is just kind of make a palette of colors that you like together And then you can mix and match all the different colors into all your different shapes, and it will look cohesive no matter what. I thought it might be a bit too empty in these spaces here. So we were playing around with some designs, and I thought candy canes would be really cute to go in between, and they're super easy as well. All you have to do is alternating dots of red and cream in a cane shape. And just space them out a little bit so you can fit another dot inside. And you can make them all different sizes. Doesn't have to be all big. Make some big ones, some small ones. And I think that will really fill out the whole design. We are ready to get to our final cake design, which is going to be a knitted design. So I'm just going to scrape this all off and then we can get right into it. So first things first, we have our clean palette, and the first thing I want to do is add on our little gingerbread men that we're going to be piping. I just have a tiny gingerbread man cookie cutter. I will link this, of course, in the description box below. But we're just going to space this out so that we can have a gingerbread man, and then we're going to have a little heart here, and then another gingerbread man. I'm just going to try my best to make them as evenly spaced as possible. I think as with all the designs that we're doing though, they don't need to be perfect. They can be a little bit homemade looking. Start off with our brown buttercream for our gingerbread men. So we did have a false start here, just a little bit of a trial and error. So we decided to go with this technique, which is the same squiggle technique we just used on the previous one. I think this is probably the best technique to use for detailed things. And then for big chunky areas, we can fill out with actual like knitted designs. Follow inside the line with your squiggles going back and forth. Oh, and I didn't mention we're using a PME 3 here. And I'm just gonna go around and fill out all the gingerbread men in this same way. All right, so our gingerbread men are all done. You can always go back and fill out any areas. If you see you're missing some buttercream in a specific area, this is quite a forgiving technique in that sense. So I switched to my red piping bag with PME 2.5 on it, and we're going to be doing the hat, the bow tie, and the buttons, and then probably our little hearts as well. So our hat, we want to do a bit off center. Don't use a piping bag this big. It's very awkward. I'm just doing it for the rest of the red piping. So we'll just do some little squiggles in a hat-ish shape. Have our bow tie, 2 teardrops like this for the bow tie, and then a little center. And then I'll do 2 buttons beneath that. And then we can do our heart. For the heart, let's just try the squiggle technique once we've outlined it. So next we have our white. So I'm using PME 1.5 for this. We're doing all of our details, the little squiggle beneath the hat, all of the little cuffs around the arms and legs, and then 2 cute little eyes. These are pretty easy. Most of the details are just little squiggles. Go back and forth and create a wave on the arms and the legs. Doesn't matter if it's perfect. And then our 2 eyes. So we do the kind of like making a ball technique, if you've watched my piping basics video. Next, I want to do a green border up top. All I'm going to do is mark out a line all the way across, and I'm going to do a rope border there. I'm just going to make sure that my cake is as centered as possible here so that I can kind of anchor my hand here. Hold the scribe tool as still as possible as I rotate the cake. It's not going to be perfect, but we don't need it to be. just a general guideline for where we're putting that rope border. So I have my PME 44 tip, and you can really use any medium type star tip. And we will do a rope border here. So again, this is in my piping basics video. All we have to do is start on one side and then come around like this. So coming around kind of in like a C shape or a comma shape. So the end is never gonna look perfect. Just do your best to fill it in. Next, I want to do a border of little easy triangle trees at the base. So just practicing, and I think I like this one the best. We're gonna start the same way. I'm just gonna mark out where the top of the trees will be. Again, I'm just bracing my hand on the edge of my turntable and trying to keep it as level as possible. We're gonna fill all of this in with other piping, so it doesn't really matter if it's perfect or not. For our trees, they're really easy. We're just doing a triangle and then a little squiggle in the middle and then a trunk. That's it. So next I'm gonna go in with my red, and then we're gonna do all the kind of fun chunky knit stuff. We have PME 13 here, so it's just a nice fat star tip. I wanna do just a plain braid border at the top. So just gonna go back and forth with this red. For this braid border, I'm trying to aim both of them to end off in the middle of this little section here. So it's just tiny shells. So pressure and then releasing into the middle. Make sure to wipe off your tip, otherwise it is gonna get a little bit messy. So again, we're at the end. It's never gonna look perfect, but we'll just attach it the best we can. Just cover up all the white, basically. Next, I think we will work on our bottom border. Between all the trees, I'm going to do a small shell going downwards. The first thing I want to do is fill out all of our shells with just a vertical line going all the way down using our PME 44 with the red Buttercream again. So just small shells all the way down. And don't worry about the bottom, we can clean that up afterwards. The next design we will do is just a little braid between every other one. So this is quite easy, just the same technique we did at the top. And I'm just gonna do it right beneath where our tree is. Skip one and then again here. So the final design we're doing is gonna be with a PME 5. I tried it with the same tip as before, the 44, but I found it looked too muddled. So we're just gonna go back and forth again with our shells, kind of crisscrossing. So start just where your fat shell is up top, and then kind of eyeball where your middle area is going to be as well. You can always make a little mark if you want to. And then I just did a little line of shells that way, and then I'll do another line this way. And then I will crisscross the other side. We're still here with our PME 5, and I'm just gonna go around our border one time. I'm gonna do a braid, so back and forth. Just making sure to cover our line here. So we wanna cover any white over here. That's why I chose the braid over a shell. So you can kind of fudge it out a little bit if you need to. I'm just gonna fill out all of our gaps with just some squiggly buttercream and a PME number 1 tip. so that we can keep things as clean as possible. I do like the PME tips because they are a little bit pointier, so I can kind of get into tighter spaces. So I'm just gonna do my little squiggle motion in all the gaps to fill it out. And this is supposed to just look like a kind of cozy, chunky knit sweater. So again, it doesn't have to be perfect. And then once we're done this, we're just gonna clean up the top area here so that it looks the same all the way across. And then we can fill in with white and finish our top border as well. Your tip is definitely gonna get messy doing this, so just have a towel nearby to clean it off. That is all filled in. Fill in the squiggle pattern again with kind of like a V shape. So I actually might do just a small border to keep it clean and then fill that in just with a little bit of buttercream. And then I'll do a deeper border here just so it doesn't look too sloppy and uneven. Okay, so I think our red knitted area is all finished for now. I'm going to switch to my white tip to fill out the rest of this area here. Outline all of the detail work first, and then we can fill it all in with our squiggles again. So I've outlined these two trees, and I'm just filling it in quickly with our squiggles so we're not here for like 12 hours piping. And I'll show you how I outline this. So I just go back and forth very roughly. And this is also the time, if you made any mistakes, you can fill them in with white. So then we will go around our gingerbread as well. We are finished all of our white squiggles, and now we are going back in with our red tip, and this is the same one as here. I'm just gonna do a bottom border all the way around, just a plain shell, because I feel like it needs something to give it a little bit more dimension. Just gonna go straight around with this. It was a little crazy looking at the bottom, so we're just filling that in. So I switched over to my white bag with PME number 44, and I'm gonna do a rope border right inside here. Then I'm going to do trees. Then I'm gonna fill out the rest with the white squiggles. We're closing in on the end here, we're almost done. We're back to PME number 5, and I'm going to do the little tree border inside. Adding the white squiggles in between all of our trees. So again, we'll go around each of them to make our border and then fill in all the gaps. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and also check out my other holiday tutorials, which I'm gonna link in the description box below and also somewhere in this video, and I'll see you next time.